What's going on, everybody? It's that dude named Dave here, chiming in with the Jump Off Podcast here. We've been gone for a while. You see me in the video. I got my Nino Brown, a.k.a. Avon Barksdale look going here, like Michael Audrey said here. And as you can see here in the split screen, we got my main man, Jay to the motherfucking D with the Superman hat on. What's going on, JD?
Not much, man. Feeling like Superman after blowing all this damn snow a few minutes ago. So, had to go rock the hat for the show today.
This is ridiculous, people. You know, we've been on hiatus for a while. We want to apologize to our Jump Off fans. You know, we've had a slew of people join the group page here, and we haven't had no new shows to showcase people. But one of the main reasons why we haven't been able to do any shows is we've been kind of stuck with the weather. You know, work's been messed up, the weather. We got polar vortexes going on. We mentioned in our last show. We got 4 to 6 inches last night. We're recording this here. JD had 9 inches in his driveway in Iowa. I mean, the shit's real.
Yeah,
see, JD's laughing.
Ridiculous. It's ridiculous, man. I mean, you know, every year I think that people complain about the weather, and I don't know, one Mr. Blacksmith doesn't like it when people complain about the weather too much, but personally, it sucks, man. It was horrible trying to get home from the middle of nowhere last night, which is, you know, near where I work at, and you know,
Iowa's out of nowhere.
Right. Where I work at is completely in the middle of nowhere. Like, it's nothing but cornfields all around it. So you got 8-7 foot drifts of snow. Like, it's ridiculous, man. And I just kind of skidded home, and thanks to God, I made it. But, yeah, I just came from outside now, had to shovel the driveway, and I'm sure everybody cares a whole lot about that. But, I just want to say fuck winter a lot. And, I'm tired of it. I need to go somewhere warm, man. We need to relocate to somewhere warm.
That's right. The Jump Off needs to go somewhere where we can do a show like every day of the week. It don't matter. It could be Tuesday and it's like 83. You know, that's what the Jump Off need to do. So the fan suggestions out there to all the fans worldwide here, where the Jump Off should go. Jump Off should go. We in Chicago, in Iowa. JD gonna say you don't live in Iowa. I don't care. I'm gonna keep saying that, so I don't know this dude no more. He in Iowa, we in Chicago, but the common bond is that we have jacked up weather, okay? And we need to go somewhere where we can do a show any day of the week. Matter of fact, we were supposed to do a show last week. JD's internet went out. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, man. My internet was out. My satellite went out for a long time too. Like, it's crazy. And I mean,
Did you pay your bill, first of all?
Yes, I paid my bill.
I know how black people are. We are late to pay bills. You know, you're probably like, oh, damn, I didn't pay the bill. And then by the time it came down, like, you paid the bill, we couldn't record the show. I just got to ask how black people be slow on paying bills.
No, this is a pure snow outage. No, it had nothing to do with my delinquency on my bill. If that was the case, I'll probably have some shit cut off for real, because there's certain bills that I'm kind of on fuck you status right now. But that's all right. I'll get them back.
Okay, JD's keeping it real. Some bills from fuck you status. I like that, JD. Yeah, I'm gonna use that one. Yeah. I'm gonna get something in the mail and be like, man, you going FUS. FUS, yeah, fuck you status. But to everybody who's checking in, we appreciate you chiming in with us right now. We know a lot of you are in the area that we do live at, so hope everybody's staying warm, staying safe out here in these streets. And we ain't talking about streets where you go bang bang. We're talking about these streets where you're sliding off.
How's crime doing in Chicago now that the weather is so fucked up? Is crime down?
Crime is down. Crime is down.
That's the key to solving all of Chicago's crime problems, is to just snow every fucking day.
But here's the problem, though: murders are up still, or because of accidents. So it's kind of balancing up right now. You see, you got all these car accidents, people dying of cold, because people who are in impoverished states don't have heat and not get into the heating centers. So you got old folks dying. You got people dying in car accidents, but people ain't shooting each other no more. So actually, the police commissioner, is making these stats like, hey, at the beginning of the year, crime is almost at an all-time low. And some people's like, yeah, motherfucker, because no one can go outside.
Right?
So it's like the flip side right now. You know what that?
Juking the stats.
Yeah. Juking the stats, wire quotes, the corner quotes. We're juking the stats, but you know what though? These are legit stats because they don't gotta fudge the numbers. It really happens. It's too cold to go out there. Hey, no murders today. I mean, I bet you there's hood cats right now in the house. Like, I can't wait till the snow melts. I can make up for lost time.
Right. They making lists of people they trying to murder, man. That's sad.
I can't wait till I can walk to the corner. I can't even walk to the corner. As soon as I get on King Drive, baby, it's going to be on. So I want to thank everybody for chiming in here, checking us out here. We're back. It's only the two of us right now. We got JD and myself that do, but we still gonna keep it moving. No Blacksmith for the time being right now. Johnny Danger's still on the railroads each long day, so shout out to them too. But you still get us. We will keep giving you what you want. And so here we are. So for today, JD had something that he wanted to talk about. We got several things we're going to try to get into, but it's off the sports radar. It's kind of more of like a lifestyle, everyday situation type of thing here. So I'm going to let my man JD kick it off here and see what we're going to talk about today. What you got, my man?
Man, I was sitting back thinking, and a lot of times I think about how often or how much time I spend at work as opposed to being at other places, like being at home or wherever else. It's ridiculous that, we have to spend so much time at work. But because we spend so much time at work, I find that different things tend to happen. Like and this is sort of just a overarching conversation about workplace relationships, whether they're good relationships, whether they're bad relationships, whether they're intimate relationships, and I've seen a little bit of all of them. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that a little bit and sort of pick your brain, because when it comes to relationship type stuff, me and you don't always see eye to eye, and I thought that it would be a good sort of debate for us to have. So, question number one: if there's a situation, and I'm just going to speak on some things that I've seen. Not in my current job, at my job before this one, which was, probably about 4 years ago now. But, I saw a lot of relationships as far as, people, like you got your workhorses there. You have your people who bust their ass, who are 100% down. They might not feel that way. They might not show, or they might, on the inside, they might be like, I hate my fucking job, but they show up to work every day. But then you have other people who might be good at their job, but they bitch. But then you have other people who are absolutely horrible at their job, and you wonder how they keep their job. So knowing that everybody, I'm sure, can pretty much relate to a situation like that, I wanted to know, how do you, that dude named Dave, how do you deal with people who absolutely suck ass at their job, and you just want to be like, why the fuck are you here?
Wow, JD. First of all, to all of our listeners, if you are working, you have to have some sort of experience in this, okay? Mm-hmm. If you ain't working, then there's got to be someone that's not working with you that you're experiencing this as well right now, if that makes any damn sense. So how do I deal with it? That's funny you say that, though, because I'm dealing with that right now at my current job, people. That's right. That dude got issues at work. For all the misconceptions you may have about me, I think I'm a damn good worker. You know what I'm saying? JD knows the text that I be sending. Oh. I mean, I don't have a 9-to-5 job. I mean, I may work and be off from 8:30 to 5, but I don't work that. I work nights. I work weekends. And, when you're an applications engineer like myself, when you work on several applications, it's 24/7. So I'm on the clock all the time. Even when I think I'm off, I'm on, basically. So in my team, you really got to rely on the next person, because of the fact that if you're not available at that exact moment, you need the next person to step up so that they can help you out as well. Otherwise, you can be working around the clock and you get burnt out in this job. People don't last long. I'm dealing with this because I don't know how this may affect, hopefully, no one that I work with is watching the show. I don't think they are, but there are some particular people that suck ass at their job. Let's just put it that way, people. Suck complete ass. And it's funny you bringing this up, JD, you asking the question, because I actually had to go and have a private one-on-one with my manager, my director, this morning. Had to do the phone call. I'm like, hey, man, I ain't trying to be no snitch. Sorry, nigga, I'm trying to come home. But I gotta say some things. And I know some people can agree with me when you have that one person at your job who just ain't pulling their weight, JD. You know, you busting your tail because if you don't do it, who else could you? I'm at a point now, if I don't do it, who else is gonna do it?
Right.
And you got a person who just getting by and getting by. And at my job, you can't get fired. Like, I mean, after you get past the 90-day probationary period, people are lifers at my job. I'm telling everybody right now, if you can find a way to get past the 3-month rule and that you ain't got no security issues and you ain't got no drugs on you, you can retire in that bitch just by doing the bare minimum. And sometimes not doing the bare minimum. There's someone at my job right now who's been there for 20 years. And I don't know how she got there, been there for 20 years. I swear she sucks a mean you know what. Because I don't know how, because if it was up to me, I would give her a negative review every year until the company says, you got to go. Got to go. She got to go. Okay? So how do I deal with it, Jenny, to answer your question again? I really haven't answered because I'm living it right now and I'm kind of frustrated. I don't talk to that person anymore. The person sits 3 seats ahead of me. I don't talk to him. I just walk right past him like I'm busy. When I get up to go to the washroom, don't look their way. She sits on the right. I'm on the left, make a quick left. Act like I'm busy. When I walk past, I got my phone. Like, hey, what's up? Keep talking, keep it moving. I don't talk to the person no more, JD. Because you know what? I'm frustrated. I'm tired. Fed up. I'm running amok. You know what I'm saying? So, basically, if I could, I would get this person fired. And I hate to fuck other people's money. Because it's hard in these streets. Jobs are hard to come by. But I'd rather have this person fired and me do all the work than me deal with this person all the time and then get all the blame.
Right.
So, Are you since you brought this up, JD, are you dealing with this right now?
I'm not really dealing with it right now, but I can think of different times in the past where I've had to deal with that. And, I can say that, you know, it's extremely frustrating when you have someone who obviously isn't pulling their weight. Like, you know, I value and I think that I know I'm damn good at my job. And I think because I'm good at my job, people see that and then other people decide to sort of take a back seat and they just decide that, okay, well,
exactly.
this dude is the shit at the job. So we just gonna let him be the shit and we gonna cruise. Like, nah, fuck that, man. Like, it only works when everybody else, you know, takes their part of the load too. Like, yeah, I'll bust my ass because I want shit to go good for me. And if things go good for me, they'll go good for everyone. But I don't want to sit back and watch someone else, you know, not do shit while I'm out there busting my ass trying to make things work and make things go the way they need to go just so, you know, things can be smooth, man. And there's nothing more frustrating than to see that. And, you know, like you said, a lot of times those people, like, you know, my job has a 90-day probationary period too. And like you said, if you get past that, once you get past that, I think there's, I want to say 6 months till you can be in a union. And once you're unionized, you're there. Like,
it's a wrap. Yeah, union. Unless the union dissolves, you're good.
Right.
Yeah, unless the union decides to get rid of you because they don't want you no more. The union got to say, nah, this dude's going to fuck up the whole union. If that's not been the case, you're a whole different ball game in the union status.
Right. And one thing that I you know, I will say that I'm kind of jealous of you of is that I know that your job gives you a lot of incentives because you do so well at your job. And like, I know that you've spoken a lot of times on, you know, how you've gotten promotions and stuff too. And like, my job really isn't like that. Like, I know that I'm appreciated. And like, when I need days off and I have certain things happen, you know, I'll be like, yo, this is what it is. And they know that I'm not bullshitting them. So they take care of me. But it just kind of sucks that monetarily they aren't putting, you know, a few extra bucks an hour in my pocket every time they see me out there busting my ass fighting a kid or, you know, doing something crazy. So, you know, I just wish that it was a little more incentive that way. But the job that I'm at currently is way better than the job that I was at before. And, you know, if I can segue into another type of work issue, how do you feel personally about workplace relationships as far as sexual relationships with coworkers.
I knew you was going there. You know what though? Let me be real. I wish I had a work wife. I don't have. I mean, the special person in my life right now. The call, she gets on my case, mess with me about like, who am I talking to at work, because the funny thing about in my line of work, there's not that many men do what we do. When it comes to application support, not help desk, but actually like application support engineering and development work. You'll be surprised about how many men are in this field actually. There is more women actually in the field than men. And then you add the fact that I'm an African American male, I am on the lowest of the low minority totem pole. So unless these women got a fetish for a black dude, that ain't happening for me right now. There is no work wife, but and let's say that I could have that, right? It'd be kind of cool, say to flirt like, hey, how you doing? Get you lunch, they get you, hang out. That don't work for me because I'm one of the youngest cats in my field right now, you can say, because normally people who do what I do in my situation, and I don't want people to take the route that I'm doing, but I never finished college. What I have, right, I told everybody I got a promotion and a bonus and my raise all last week, right? So in my line of work, you technically need a bachelor's degree to get in, and for my promotion being a lead now, you normally need a master's degree. I don't even have a damn associate's degree. So, of course, I'm fortunate enough that I kind of took the school of hard knocks and worked my way up and just kind of hustled my way to get where I'm at now. Read a whole bunch of books and just I know how to mouthpiece to talk my way up into this bitch. But everybody else is older. They in their 40s. 40 shorty, they in their 50s. And you want to know something, JD? I'm in IT, engineering. They're all Indian. They're all Indian. I got nothing but love for my Indians, yo. But these ain't the Indians from America. These are FOB, baby, fresh off the boat. Because my company they import them to the States. I mean, these are the dudes who are the dudes that work there. They wear the wrinkled khakis every day if I put an iron to them. Like they wash their pants in the washer and dryer and take them out and put them on and keep it moving. They don't think about with khakis, you gotta put an iron to that shit. You want to make them look nice and crisp, like Snoop Dogg would say, nephew, when you're wearing your Dickies. No, they don't do that. And then the women, can you imagine, the 40 and 50-year-old Indian women doing what they're doing right now that barely can speak English? You see the type of dude I am, and that's no marriage right there. So I would love to have a work wife, JD. But my situation right now, I'm a loner. I'm an orphan. I'm a foster child in my line of work. There's no black people. I am by myself. So as far as that's concerned, I would like to have a work wife, someone to keep me company, make me feel special when I'm not feeling special. You know what I'm saying? Make me feel all nice and warm and fuzzy inside that I'm doing a good job. No, I don't have that. I'm solo. I'm dolo. You know what I'm saying? So what about you? I mean, does your wife, that there's maybe a work wife going on there, or you would like to have that?
See, there's a certain line that I'll draw, and I don't know. I don't really think it's a subject that personally me and my wife talk about a lot. Like, what she does at work is what she does at work. What I do at work is what I do at work. It's not like we out here doing all sorts of crazy shit, but I'm not going to go up to her and just start up a conversation like, so do you have a work husband? Like, that sort of thing. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. But, I think her field is predominantly all women. So, my field for the most part, in most places, I would say is women, but when you at the particular places that I've been, like men are a commodity, like so. We're definitely in high demand, and as far as that goes, it's sort of interesting. Like at a place like my job, we're in very high stress situations. Like I said, if people who don't know, I work with troubled teens, kids who are in the unit that I work in. All my kids right now are from Chicago, so they send them all the way out here because they can't run away, and I get to deal with them,
JD, one did run away one night though. You did tell me the story.
True.
Someone did. One of them badass kids ran away, and you was up all night looking for them shits.
Yeah.
And you found them because I gotta give it to you when you told me you found them, but one did get away.
Yeah. They try their best to get out, but I mean, especially in the winter, nobody's going anywhere right now. But
right.
But yeah, I mean, it's a high stress situation. It's a high stress job. So you have the relationships that you have with people are usually really, really strong, whether that's a positive strong or a negative strong, because you're in such a high stressful, type situation all the time. So, and then too, we spend so much time there. I can tell you it's countless days where I've had to spend overtime there, extra hour or two. I see them more than I see my family, for the most part.
Yeah.
And it's tough to not have those sort of close relationships with people. Now, as far as women go, there's nothing like that going on with me personally at the moment or in the past. But I think that at my other job that I worked before this, I saw several situations where people had all sorts of relationships going on. I mean, people having sex in offices and, coming in and having staff, walk in on people having sex in cars and meeting up places and all sorts of crazy shit.
Did you get it? Did you get it on camera?
No.
Why not?
I wasn't really looking to get it on tape. I mean, I knew about it. I guess knowing about it was enough. I don't know, but yeah, I wasn't trying to be a creeper.
See,
I mean, hey.
I need that kind of action at my job. I would have the iPhone. I'll have my iPad and I have it up. I'd be like, I'll flip the screen.
But see, that's the thing.
It in right now.
That's the thing. I don't think that the issue or the situation is that most of these people who do these things, I don't know what it is. I think that because, especially with my field, you give so much at that job that it sort of leaves holes in other places in your life. And I can see how people who are bonded in these sort of situations end up being drawn closer and closer to each other, or, they might really like each other, or they might end up, having sex or, those sort of things because, those relationships are so strong and so tight because of what you do. But I mean, I can think of one relationship that I know of a supervisor who he was flat out, several times was having sex with a subordinate of his. And, it was to the point where,
nice.
It was to the point where, everybody knew it was happening, but I guess management didn't really know it was happening. But everybody knew it was happening.
Yeah.
And, it didn't really get addressed or anything. But then the girl ended up leaving. And when she left, it was then the floodgates open and, there's investigations and all sorts of crazy shit. And I'm like, I don't really even understand why people trip on that type of shit, man. I can get it on a level where this was a boss messing with an employee, I guess. But the whole relationship thing, man. Relationships are relationships. We spend so much time with these people that you can almost guarantee that they're going to happen. So you have to be aware. I guess if a person was on that type of stuff, they have to be a little bit smart about the situations. But, especially in my field, I can really see it happening all the time. And I can see the value in something like that for someone, but you really have to decide, what personally, what's the risk? Is it worth everything that you have in your personal life outside of work to do something like that with, a person that you work with? And if it's worth the risk, I guess it's worth the risk. And, you never know what type of relationships and bonds that can develop with people that you work with.
I will say that I joked around about this, but at the end of the day, I do not want a work-wife relationship. And I don't know if I ever mentioned this to you, to the fellas. Several years ago at my last job, I was actually seeing someone who I was actually working with, you know, and no, I mean, at the time, you know, when you first meet someone, you know, this chick is bad. I mean, you know, she had nice legs and, you know, body was banging, you know, and she was coming after me, you know. I mean, I was a young buck, you know, she was like 7 years older than me coming after me, you know. I'm like, oh, okay. I'll let little shorty, you know, get a little whiff of this, you know, and everything like that. You know, she was bringing me lunch. You know, when she cooked, you know, she made enough for two and stuff like that. But I gotta tell you, from real life experiences, people, when it goes bad, oh, it is so bad. This chick tried to get me fired from my job when it hit the fan. And it got to the point where that, you know, when things were bad, and then she reported me to HR, you know, on some stuff that wasn't even work related. Even HR said when they got all the stories out, this is not even work related. Why are you here? I'm like, dude. And then I remember I was on the phone. It's like, why are you trying to get me fired and make me lose my money? I said, if I'm out of a job and I ain't getting my money, don't you know it's going to affect you down the road? Now, you may see not initially, but I become a statistic. I become on unemployment. I'm in the streets now. I got to move back home with my mama. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta be dependent on other people. Just that whole floodgate of going downhill when I've been doing my job, working 80 hours a week, and then all of a sudden you want to be on some bullshit. So I joke around about it, but at the end of the day, I know what it's like to be in a work relationship when it goes bad. I mean, bad's the point where that you're cursing each other out. There's text messages that don't look favorable. You know what I'm saying? Like, you look at this and you think she was a dude the way she was going ham. You know, and you know me, I ain't taking a step back, so I'm going ham right back. Because I ain't taking it. I don't care who you are. When you cross the boundaries, when you come that habitual line stepper, I'm going to treat you like a dude. You know, so when it comes to relationships, you know, you got to have that common balance before you let it go too far. But my problem was in that situation, I wanted to hit. Let's be real. I saw her from Jump Street and said, yeah, I wish I could hit that. And she wanted a little piece of that dude, you know, and I gave a little piece of that dude and went a little bit too further. And then we came to find out that, excuse my language, ladies, but she was a bitch. I mean, I will say that. I don't like to use that word openly. You know, I joke around about it, but I will say this, and I will say it again. You was a bitch. If she watched the show, if she were. Her family knows it. Her moms knows it. I got an argument around her moms, and she tried to embarrass me in front of her moms like she was trying to punk her brother out. So at the end of the day, you know, work wives, work husbands, I think it's cool to be cool people, but you gotta know them boundaries. You know, you gotta know when to say when. And actually, I'm kind of happy in my situation now that I only work with Indians. You know, so I can't get caught up now. They can't speak no English. They're dirty in a certain sense that they don't iron their clothes. You know, they don't smell favorably around me. I hate the stereotype. People say, Dave, you racist. No, if you work where I worked at, you would know what I'm talking about. I do not like the curry. I'm sorry, the curry does not jive with me. So in my situation, I am happy to be an orphan, a loner, sit by myself. And then it doesn't help, of course, that I got someone who I work with who don't do their damn job because I do my job to the 115th power, and then here they are just sitting back in the background. So I guess it's all good for me. Now, so for everybody out there, I'm kind of curious to jump off listeners if you have something like this going on. Please post this in the group page because I want to know what's going on. Like, Michael Autry always got stuff to post. I'm curious about Tito in the post office because people be going post in the post office. Tito, what about the women? Do you have women, drivers or who's working behind a kind of sorting the mail out and stuff? Do you get it in with them? Do you go ahead and get down on the first class mail on the table before you sort it out? You know, and then you go ahead and do the deliveries, you know, but at the end of the day, I say, be friendly, but if you know what I went through, don't go ahead and tap your girl at the job. It ain't a good look.
If I can say one last thing too, I think, and I don't know if this is, just mutually exclusive to the job that I work, but the relationships that I've formed with people, male and female, at my job, and the jobs that I have been invaluable to me. Some of my best friends are people that I've worked with. And I don't think that if I was in another field that I would necessarily get those relationships that I've had with some of the people. Because, I mean, honestly, besides you guys and the guys who do the show with, But, all my other, best and really close friends are people that I've worked with. And, like I said, because of the stress and everything that we do, it really builds great relationships and friendships. And, it's really invaluable. And I care a lot about the people that I've built those relationships with, over the years. So, there are some good that can come of it. You just gotta be careful, I guess.
Yeah, speaking of that, Joe, on a sour note, on a bad note, I got to send a shout out to my boy, Mayer Gajor. Me and him worked together for several years, and then when we didn't work together, we actually worked across the street from each other for several years. He just lost his mom's last week. I talked to him on the phone and everything. He's going through a rough time right now. So I just want to get a shout out to my man, Mayer, I talked to you the other night. I mean, I know it's a rough time for you, but, we work together, and you're my man, 50 grand, and hopefully you get this little tough time right now. And I say that because today's my mom's birthday. So shout out to Mom Dukes. I called her up this morning. I say, hey, you look like a 23-year-old young lady, the way you do your thing. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
so shout out to moms.
Can I call her Mom Dude?
Oh yeah, Mom Dude. I say Mom Dukes though. I say Mom Dukes though, I call her Mom like J Dilla, Mom Dukes.
Right.
So shout out to moms,
Yeah, happy birthday to your mom, man.
Yeah, I got to figure out what I got to do for the anniversary. Mom's and Pop's anniversary coming up right after that, too. It's right after this as well. 44 years. I don't know what to do, JD. I know I'm a little offside. Just got to get it out there, I spent so much money out on my Mortons last year. I think I almost had like a $500 table. I covered the whole damn bill on food. and we only had 2 glasses of wine. That tell you how much the food costs. So I don't know what I gotta do this year. I gotta say though, when I wrote that tip was like some people's freaking bills itself. I'm like, shit, 15%. They fucking with a nigga. What? Can I give you a gift card I already have in my wallet? Yeah. So, but that's all I got on work relationships right now. But that's a good thing you brought this up, though. I'm kind of curious what the jump off fans are going to say about it. But, I got to deal with this. As soon as we get done recording this, I got to deal with this right now. Oh, one more thing. The one thing that's a pet peeve of mine is people who don't read their goddamn emails at work. My job is so reliant on email communication, and there's been times where I got to sit up late at night, JD. I'm off work. It's 9, 10 o'clock at night, and I'm sending emails out. Really, people are chilling, doing their own thing. Mm-hmm. And then a week later, people asking me questions that could have been answered in that email that happened days before. I want to slap the shit out of you knowing that I just wasted my time writing that email. I didn't have to be up at 9 o'clock at night. You could at least read the email. I put in the subject line in all caps. I put stars in that bad boy. I put a read receipt on that bitch. And still people don't read it. So, talking about that relationship aspect, you want to see me at my highest pissivity? Me being pissed on, not pissed off? That is it right there, JD. Don't read my fucking email and see what happens.
Well, hey, I'll make sure to not do that, sir.
And also, with our relationship, why we don't get along all the time? Because I make it that way. I can't get along with you all the time. I don't want to. That would be that's, I don't want to agree. It's like, yeah, that's cool every day. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, I agree with you. No, fuck that, JD. On purpose, I'll have the opposite response just because you like something. Just because on GP.
Right. Hey,
just letting you know that right now.
I'm gonna let you take over for like 30 seconds. I got to go grab my charger from my laptop.
Oh, wow. You see that, people? JD's got to go grab his charger from the laptop here, so I'm by myself right now. So while we're waiting for him, what I want to talk about, we'll go a little sports here to tailor off here at the end of this show here. And as everybody knows, we're recording this on February 5th. Super Bowl happened on Sunday. And I don't think it was really a Super Bowl because, let's be honest, Seattle just stomped the mud hole in the Denver Broncos' asses here. And I don't know if you want to backtrack to several episodes a while back, and I can't wait for JD to come back right now, that I actually predicted every single win in the NFL playoffs. I wish I was a betting man because I have a few dollars in my pocket right now if that was the case. Once we knew who would end the playoffs, I predicted every single win. And initially, I was going for Peyton Manning to win it initially, but then once I had time to sit down and I thought about the Seattle defense because of the fact that I had Seattle on my fantasy football league team, I said I'm going for Seattle to win it all. People in my job Sherman, going in on Colin Kaepernick and Michael Crabtree. I was all cool about it. I mean, he did go over the top, but I said, you know what though? Society's a bunch of weak people who don't understand these are football players and they go hard and they go on emotion. So now that we have JD back here, I was mentioning about the Super Bowl, how it wasn't really a game, and he was listening, and can I get props for predicting every single win in the playoffs this year? I predicted every single game, from the wild card round, the divisional round, to the championship round, and the Super Bowl. All 4 weeks to the Super Bowl. I predicted every single team. Can I get a super called it?
Yeah, you could have called it on that one for sure. And
I like how you're so enthusiastic about
it. Because I can't just bow down to you at this point in time. Like,
you got to. Every single game, baby. I call the whole playoffs.
With sports, that's what a lot of people don't know is that I would say me and that dude's biggest disagreements have always come over sports. Like, it's always been over.
That is true.
Some of the, we had different philosophies. We agree on most things, but we have different philosophies on certain things. So I can't automatically concede that, even though you did get all the picks right, if you were a betting man, you would have won a lot of money. But even though you did do that, I had to give you your props, but I can't give you too much because it's still a rivalry. It's still a rivalry.
Who have you known that's predicted every single win in the playoffs? Who have you known that's done that? Not be like, oh, I missed one, but I got all of them. I missed this one game. No, every single game I told you who would win those games. And I came out. And matter of fact, I made those predictions from the beginning of the playoffs. When we got to the point, I said Denver be in the playoffs, I said, and they will go to the Super Bowl. My initial thought was, I said, a Peyton Manning, will get to, make it a second Super Bowl. And then when I analyzed it, like I was saying when you went to charge your laptop, I said, when I thought about my Seattle defense on my fantasy football league team this year and how they were wrecking shop for me, kicking ass for me, I was like, before that, I said, you know what though, Denver's going to be there, but Seattle's going all the way. Who done that, baby? Who you know? You gotta bow down.
Yeah.
This is like Game of Thrones, baby. And I'm like that, I'm like that little midget. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one respects him, but he's always fucking right. Okay? Let's just be real.
Oh, man. Hey, like I said, I'll give you your props. Just not too much. Because, hey.
Not too much. That's hating. That's hater rate right there, man.
A little bit.
You wish you could be me. You wish you could be me because I successfully predicted that. Your dark horse was fucking the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, because I had to go on a fucking limb, okay? If you're gonna go out on a limb and you pick a dark horse, you gotta pick a dark horse. You can't pick a brown horse, you can't pick a light skinned horse, you gotta pick a fucking dark horse.
Well, you can't pick a light skinned horse, we know that. You know with Jeff. With Jeff, we know we can't pick light skinned horses, Let's just be real. Guys, I gotta take a shot at them.
And if you're gonna pick a horse, I could only pick the Colts or the Broncos. The Broncos are too good to be a dark horse, so I had to go with the Colts. See? Logical. 100% logic right there. You can't fuck with it.
But you know what, though? Going next year, I think you need to fuck with your boy, though. When it comes down to it, I think you need to say, hey, you know what, Dave? When it comes to football, I just got to sit back in the cut and say, I got to give it all. It's all because of you.
No.
Next year.
Dave, this is what we have to do. Next year for football. We have to have we got to have first of all the jump off people. I know me, you, Jeff, John, Tito, Mike, whoever else we can come up with. We need a fantasy football league first and foremost. We got to have a jump off fantasy football league.
Hold on though. I don't do freebies. It's got to be money on the table. I don't do free fantasy leagues anymore.
Put money?
It's got to minimum $100.
Where's my wallet?
Hold on. Let's make this interesting. Minimum $100 buy-in.
Oh, shit.
Minimum. Yeah, put your money where your dick and mouth is, son. DSI.
Hey,
okay.
Hey, for us, if we're gonna put $100 in, so it's okay. $100 in, winner take all.
Well, ooh, you really go in there. Winner take all. Okay, how about this then? $100 buy-in. Then for transactions, there is a $5 to $10 transaction. So if you want to do a trade, we'll put cap limitations on that as well. So it goes into a pot. If you want to do a pickup, there'll be limitations. You just can't just drop anybody, be anybody like that. You got to go in and go hard. So this pot, well, with $100 buy-in, and then $5, $10 in there making moves, and then of course there'll be a lockdown period where you can't make any moves, no matter what in the season, no matter if you have injuries, playoffs. We better keep doing what you can. And then once we get to the playoffs, and then at the end of the day, winner takes all pots. How about that? That'd be the biggest bragging rights of all. I'd be down for that. Now, everybody else might say there might be a second and third place. We could probably work out the particulars. Maybe second place can get like $10 and third place get $5, just as a joke. But it literally be a winner take all. Okay?
All right.
What do you say about that?
Hey, I'm down. We gotta figure that out for next year for sure though, because I know we can come up with at least. I know we can come up with at least 10 people that'll be down to do it. So, but yeah, I think that'd be a blast. It can't be small
because it can't be a small league because if you only do 6 people, those will be fucking shootouts, and then it's gotta be real competitive, like 10 or 12 man league.
12,
yes.
Yep. 12 would be ideal.
12. That means the pot be minimum 1,200 before we get into the transactions. This could be a $1,500 pot. And you know what though? And then when it's all said and done, I will get on the show and then wave all y'all money like, yeah, look at me, bitches. Yeah, I got my reparation. I got my reparation. See how I'm shining. Yeah. I will buy some new diamond earrings on y'all just because. Just let you know that. So if you down, I'm down. We got enough time now to set this up now.
Yep. We will definitely
real fast
do that
though. Real fast. How you think about that ass whooping on Sunday night though?
I didn't enjoy the game at all. I mean, if I don't have 2 teams in the game, or if I don't have a team in the game that I'm like really pulling for, like the Bears or whatever, all I want is a good game, and that was anything but a good game. It was over as soon as the snap got fumbled by Peyton in the first play of the game, and
that was symbolic, wasn't it, JD?
It really was.
That was so symbolic. That the first play of the game, safety, and it was a wrap.
Yeah, and the sad part about it is I don't think the Broncos are that bad. I don't think Seattle is that good, and if they played again, the game might be closer, but. This isn't a series. This is just, it's one game. And as every fan of the NFL has seen before, once you get on that sort of downward trend, it's really, really, really hard to stop. And once that momentum started sliding towards Seattle, Denver was really going to have a hard time. Like once I told my wife, and I was watching a game with my wife and my daughter, and I told her, I said, once, I think it was, I want to say 27 or 28 to nothing, or I knew they were up 3 touchdowns. Once Seattle was up 3 touchdowns, I said this game is over. They got up by 3 touchdowns, and they were up by 3 touchdowns midway through the second quarter, I want to say. I was like, it's a wrap, it's over. There's no way that Denver is going to be able to mount a comeback like that after they've been humiliated the way they have so far. And then, to add salt to the wound, to come out for the second half and run a kickback, I was like, damn.
Percy Harvin was waiting for that play he didn't play the whole year. He was waiting for that kickoff, so I ain't played the whole year. I've got 40, 50 million. I'm going to show these cats what I can do. He took it on a bounce on a kickoff. Normally when that happens, it's disaster when you get to the bounce. You're normally going to go 3 or 4 yards. You're going to go down because they're going to be able to gang tackle you, knowing that you have to wait for the bounce, have to secure the ball. And by the time the special teams are right down, he hit the hole, did a couple of juke moves, hit the sideline, and it was a wrap. It wasn't me, or is Percy Harvin that fucking fast? I mean, we knew he was fast when he was in Minnesota. But of course he was healthy now. He had the injury, he had the surgery this whole year, and he was fine 100% now. But I knew dude was fast. I didn't know dude was that fucking fast. It just seemed like he was like the 14-year-old eighth grader running against playing against sixth graders in the backyard, basically. That's how fast he looked. It was just like a man among boys.
Yeah, and I mean the Seattle team really has an opportunity to put together a nice run over the next 4 to 5 years. And like you said, they have Harvin, who didn't play really at all this year, who is a definite.
You're gonna have him all next year.
Right.
Yeah.
He's a definite weapon. They're gonna have an off season to retool their offensive line a little bit, which I think needs a little help. And then if they can add one more weapon, one more wide receiving weapon, they're going to be scary because that defense is set and that defense is young and the defense is cheap, and they haven't really had to pay anybody yet. But like I said, that window is about 3 to 4 years. If they can put together some nice little runs during that 3 to 4 years, that's good. But at a certain point in time, they're going to have to start paying all these people, and then the swing's going to fall apart because, Russell Wilson is getting paid like $300K right now. Like, I mean, come on.
Actually, he got a raise now. He just got a raise because the two playoffs and the Super Bowl, he's going to make $800,000 next year.
Balling. to anybody else, that would be balling.
He's a raise to $800,000.
Right.
Peyton Manning, he was making that in the first half of week one.
Right. And I mean, that's the thing. They can really make some noise over the next few years because they have so many of their players that they've drafted. They did really good drafting late round players, like a lot of their, I think at least 3 or 4 of their studs have been drafted in the 3rd round or later. And it just goes to show you how good a scouting department can be. You got to have a little luck too. You got to have a great coach like Mr. Pete Carroll, even though I don't like him, but obviously he does something right.
Yeah, you was on the show and you was going in about Pete Carroll, and I had to text you before we did the show here. I'm like, hey man, Pete Carroll's only one of 3 coaches now to win a championship in college and the pros. Gotta show Pete some love, man.
Yeah.
Show PC some love.
Yeah, and
can't hate on him. The rah-rah works, JD. The rah-rah works.
Yeah, I guess it does. In that scenario, it definitely worked. I got to give him credit too. And I was hearing reports about how they're running their practice at the Super Bowl and they got Tupac in the background and blasting the like most situations and most practices they might pump crowd noise into the practice area so that you get used to playing like that. Instead of pumping crowd noise in, they were pumping in Rick Ross, and they had Tupac, and they had Old Big playing in the background. So and they said there were people running around dancing, while they're practicing and stuff. So obviously they're good at what they do. That chaos somehow is able to work for them. And I think it would have been a disaster if it hadn't worked out the way that it worked out for them. But hey, it did. So hey, it's all good. Keep doing what you're doing. As long as you can be successful, you can do whatever the hell you want to do. But, they got a nice little run. I don't think Denver is nearly as bad as everybody's making them seem. Peyton Manning in his career doesn't really change. I'm not going to downgrade him or anything because he lost this game. If he would have won the game, I would have lifted him up a notch. But just because he lost the game, I don't think that I'm going to downgrade him at all. He's still a great quarterback, one of the top 10 greats in the game. So you can't be too mad at him. And like I said, it was one game. Sometimes shit happens in one game, and there isn't too much you can do about it.
But you know what though? But here's the thing: if this was like a young Peyton Manning, JD, who's only like in his 2nd or 3rd year, I'm like, yeah, it's one game. Seattle completely, their defense exposed the Denver offense because of one of the things that they joked around was, that Peyton Manning throws ducks. And Peyton Manning's like, yeah, I throw a lot of ducks for touchdowns. But the Seattle linebackers and secondary was able to do what they were able to do because they got pressure of that front 4. They didn't need to blitz that often to hardly at all. They got the front 4 pressure, and Peyton Manning without that arm strength can't throw the ball down to feel like he really wants to. So what does he do? He throws ducks, and he likes to go underneath. When you can stop the underneath ball, they may catch the ball, but if you can stop that yards after the catch. And what's his name? Chancellor set the tone when he dropped down tight end for the Broncos. What is his name? Thomas. He caught the ball and it wasn't even a wrap. He just threw his shoulder and dude went flying 10 yards all the way back. That was the first major defensive play of the game after the safety here. They said, hey, you may catch a ball for 3 yards. You ain't going nowhere. They clearly punked the Broncos. And now, during the regular season, they're going to put up yards and put up stats. But if they play against, if they would have played San Francisco, the same thing would have happened. San Francisco defense is just as good as Seattle's, I believe. San Francisco's a more complete team because of their offense. They would have got punked the exact same way. We'll give you the 3-yard hitch. You ain't going to run after the catch. And Peyton Manning cannot throw, doesn't have the arm speed to throw it to get them tight windows. He just needs timing. But when you can take away his bread and butter, we saw what happened to him. So I think Denver's going to be good next year. But if they, let's say they do make it to the Super Bowl next year, if they got to play Seattle or San Francisco, hell, even the Carolina Panthers in that defense, Peyton Manning's going to have the exact same thing again. He better hopes that if they get back there next year, JD, they play like the New Orleans Saints, who had an improved defense this year, who could probably do some of the similar things. So next year, he better hope he see the Saints or the Green Bay Packers if they get that far. If it's Carolina, San Francisco, or Seattle, I'm sorry, Peyton Manning just saw his last Super Bowl ring when we played us. You know, that was Sexy Rexy and the Bears back in 06, 07, you know, so, I mean, they're a good team, JD, but let's be honest, though, that defense set up the way the NFC's defenses are, if they get out, Peyton Manning is in a world of hurt. And you know, I don't think it matters who came out of the AFC. If it was like, you'll see your dark horse, the Colts, or if it was like the Patriots, how big up they were, or the Broncos, whatever the case may be, the best of the NFC would have put the clamps down on the AFC this year. And I think that depending on how free agency goes this year in the draft, I think the same would be next year as well. Just how I feel. But you know, what do I know? I ain't predicted every single win this year in the playoffs. What do I know? Yeah,
I'm not even going to say nothing. I'm not even going to say anything, Dave.
That's what I thought. The fact that you're not saying nothing is the respect, because you know, and it hurts you. It burns deep down inside. It's like you got a venereal disease right now. It burns when you're pissed, because you know how it feels when David just writes. Yeah.
My heart is burning. My heart is burning.
Okay. We're about done here. Let's end this off. I have a quick points here. Last week, Victor Ortiz got knocked the fuck out against Luis Collazo on Fox Sports on a Thursday before the Super Bowl. You know, I just want to say real fast, I get arguments all the time, people saying boxing is dead. How the hell is boxing dead when Ortiz fought on a Thursday night and drew 8,000 people at the Barclays? Boxing and MMA are not, combat sports are in full effect, people. I gotta keep saying this all day long. MMA is showing the crowds. People think boxing's dead and they're drawing 8,000 on a Thursday night. No. Okay, that's my little high horse on that. But Ortiz got caught with a vicious right hook at the end of the second round, and Mama said, don't get up, and it's a wrap for him. And I just gotta say it to you, JD. Here's what Ortiz had on the line. Because Collazo's not a bad fighter. I've been a Collazo supporter. I think he got robbed when he fought Ricky Hatton several years ago. He should have won that fight, actually. They gave Hatton a victory so it could set up the Mayweather fight. You know, Hatton got a gift decision. You know, he had a hard, tough fight against Andre Berto several years ago. And then, of course, he had his own personal demons, but he's also a good fighter. Ortiz would have won. Ortiz would have been in line for a big-time fight in early spring here. And if he'd have won that fight, it would have been the Floyd Mayweather rematch in September because of what happened in 2011, I believe that fight happened, when, you know, the fourth round knockout, you know, the two-piece Nabiscuit fiasco, when he was kissing and hugging and headbutting Mayweather. You know, so we can see how much money Ortiz left on the table by getting his jaw rewired, basically. Fucked up, but that's how boxing goes, you know?
Yeah, and it's crazy that, like you said, if he would have got the win, it would have catapulted him on a path toward a rematch with Mayweather. But now that he took that loss, I mean, people are looking at him like his career is over. You know, like it's just so crazy that, you know, those extremes exist like that with, you know, in sports, and especially in combat sports like boxing, like MMA. Like, you know, one victory can set you on a path towards getting that championship belt, and one loss can end it, and it can be done and over with that fast. So it's really hard to determine. Not just
one loss, JD.
Yeah, it's really hard to determine what's next.
It's not just one loss. It's three straight losses.
Three straight.
By knockout. Because remember, as much people say that maybe Floyd sucker punched, he still got knocked out by Floyd Mayweather when he hit him cleanly. Floyd still knocked his ass out. Then he fought Josito Lopez, and he would have won. If he would have won that fight, that's a big fight from the fight Canelo Alvarez. So Tito broke his fucking jaw where he was out for 20 months. So the fact that he quit on the stool meant that he got knocked out, TKO. And then this fight last week here is a third straight knockout here. So, yeah. So we got, 3 straight knockouts. So I don't know about Ortiz now, but it's a wrap for him, I think. Yeah. And another note here is it's officially announced. Pacquiao is going to have his rematch with Timothy Bradley, April 12th at the MGM Grand. So all people thinking that, because of Pacquiao's tax woes, he's going to fight overseas going on. Nah, man. He right back at the MGM Grand 5 months later. That overseas money is good, but it ain't as good as that American money, people.
Right. And
what do you think about the rematch?
This is another situation where if Pacquiao comes out and he ends up getting a loss in a relatively, decisive fashion, a lot of people are going to be, start saying that it's time for him to wrap things up and, call it a career too. All I hope for is no controversy. I thought Pacquiao clearly won the first fight. I know that Bradley, did some things in that fight, but it was just a horrible decision in my eyes. So I hope that gets remedied a little bit. Yeah, I hope that gets remedied a little bit, and it's more. I hope that Pacquiao wins the fight convincingly, and I hope he wins the fight convincingly in my eyes and also in the eyes of the judges, so that there's no controversy. I don't want any controversy. That's the point where I'm at with MMA. That's the point where I'm at with boxing too. Like in MMA, the last UFC event that I was at in Chicago, where you had Henderson versus Thompson. Tons of people, just about everybody I sat cage side with, thought that Thompson won that fight, and then you had Henderson winning it, and not only winning it, but one judge saw it 4-1 for Henderson, and it's just like, what are you looking at? What are you looking at? And and just it was the same way with the Bradley fight, that you had judges that saw something completely outside of what was happening in that ring. So I just hope for this fight that it's a clean fight, and that these guys, whoever wins decisively enough that there's no controversy.
I will say this before we sign off here, JD, that I'm kind of worried for Manny Pacquiao in the sense that this fight's 2 years removed from the last fight. And Bradley, people don't realize, had 2 bad feet. And he was in the walking boots prior to fighting Pacquiao. That's how bad his feet were where that hit. I don't know the exact injury. I'll bring it up in our next show. That he was actually in a walking boot and he didn't have moves. So anybody that says that Bradley ran that fight, how can you run and you don't have any feet? He didn't watch the fight. I think Manny won, clearly. I am clearly on that he should not have got hosed on that. But it's 2 years removed now. He's had a vicious knockout to Marquez. He didn't look the same against Rios. People say he's back. No, you fought a flat-footed boxer who's been fighting at 135, 140 his entire career, and you made him blowing up, and now he's back now. He's not a world-class welterweight. So you can't, you like the fact that he boxed good, but he's not back until you see him fight a legit welterweight. But if Bradley's healthy, I'm kind of worried now with all what's happened to Manny in the last couple of years here. So it all depends on, if Bradley comes in and does what I think he can do, what he did against Marquez, Manny's in for a long night. That's all I'm saying. I want Manny to be Manny so that we can have all this Floyd fodder again and maybe we'll have that fight. I know it's 4 or 5 years removed, but I'm worried now that with a healthy Bradley, Manny may have had his chance and he got hosed. And this situation in April can really set it up for a really big letdown knowing what's happened in his life recently,
Right.
So
right.
That's just how I feel. But you know what though? We're gonna continue this talk another time here with that. We're gonna have a dedicated show because we gotta talk about Floyd's next opponent pretty soon because he ain't announced yet, even though we know who it may be. So the next time we record, we gotta talk about that and a few other items, JD. Does that sound like a plan?
Sounds like a plan, sir.
All right, people, we're going to sign off here, because we actually got some work to do. Besides this here, we got to pay some bills.
Yeah.
So we want to direct everybody to the Facebook group page. Keep the comments coming, keep it rolling, keep posting, but no selling shit. We catch you selling shit on the group page and advertising stuff like that, you're getting kicked out. We have kicked out quite a few people. Let you know that now. We own it. We the admins. It's our. We want it to be a community, but if you fuck up, you out.
It's just like those guys that sell the fruit and the socks and the Fritos and all that stuff on the corner, and they try to clean your glass. Like, you know, they're a nuisance. Like, it might be useful that one time you want to buy some fake Jordans, but don't come to the jump off page to buy the fake Jordans. So, right. Oh, and I want to remind people.
I don't need a 6-pack of white tube socks and a porno tape, okay? That may have been cool back in the day when we got the internet now. I don't need no internet VHS, bootleg porn tape. But go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, it's real easy to get to us if you like what you hear. The jumpoffpodcast.blogspot.com is the official site. You can also go to Facebook, jump on, on your search bar, just type in the Jump Off Podcast. You should see the group. Come on in and we'll let you in as soon as you put your request in. Usually within an hour or two, you'll be in there, and then you can be a part of the conversation. So big shout out to everybody who's involved on that and everybody who stays involved. Keep posting. Like, I know Dave is really good about it, but a lot of times I don't have an opportunity to check the group page as much as I like, but one day, I'll sit there and I'll be on there literally for like 45 minutes reading all the articles that people post, the crazy videos and stuff. So, it's off the chains. Great conversation, great people. So, get on there if you're not involved with that. Don't sleep. And you can still get us on iTunes, especially with this episode. I'm gonna make sure to take it off of YouTube, rip the audio from YouTube and put the audio so that it's up on iTunes as well. So, you'll be able to catch us on video if you want to look at us. But if you don't want to look at us, you can always get us on iTunes as well.
That's right. So all those messages that JD said, I'm that dude named Dave. That's JD right there, who I don't get along with all the time, but he's still my brother. And on that note, we'll be out of here. Peace and love. Be on the lookout for the next show, and we'll see you when we see you. Peace. Jump off.
Jump off.